I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to elders, past, present, and the emerging. Today, we're recording this podcast at the Nang Nagu Library near Queen Victoria Market. Dear listeners, you are now listening to the Voices of Us podcast produced by our not-for-profit organization, R.3. This is a space where we share authentic stories from queer, LGBTQIA+, or as we often say, rainbow, international students, alumni, and allies. Through these stories, we hope to bring you connection, courage, and a deeper understanding of the diverse journeys within our communities. You can find all episodes on our website, r.3.org. Everyone's journey is different. We're trying to bring you different perspectives, and we believe everyone can take away something from those stories. Together, we can build a world with respect, love, and understanding for all. This is Voices of Us Episode 10. I'm your host, Feifei Liao. My pronouns are she and her. I'm very excited to speak with our two speakers today, Patitta and Ayuka. Both of them work in the film industry. Apart from my role as a host, today I'm also going to share a little bit about my perspective as a producer in the film industry. How I started to explore my gender and sexuality was actually through watching films, trying to figuring things out myself. So I'm very curious about Patitta's and Ayuka's journey. Hello and welcome. I know Patitta through the recent movie, My Melbourne, and another friend who co-directed one of the stories. Would you like to introduce yourself to our listeners, Patitta?
Hi, yes, I'm Patitta, and I moved here from Thailand like 5 years ago to do my master degree. Yes, and now I work in the event industry, but before this, I work in film industry here in Australia as well, and also back in Thailand. Yeah, right now I try to explore more opportunities and more things to do, and if to be a part of the community here in Australia as well.
Thank you. Lovely to have you here, Patitta. Our another speaker is Ayuka. Ayuka and I collaborated on a video production a while ago. Great to have you here today with us as well. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. I'm Ayuka, they, them, queer, non-binary person from Japan. And I studied in America, so I get a gist of how difficult it can be as a student studying in abroad. I'm a DOP.
What is so what is a DOP?
DOP stands for Director of Photography. Another word, cinematographer. So I frame, I compose frames and in charge of lighting and how shots look like. So I'm always behind the camera. That's what I do.
Amazing. Thank you. Great to have both of you here today. I'm so excited because I consume so many queer films and I cannot wait to discuss more with you. Ayuka, so how did you start your filmmaking journey?
Good question. I always liked watching films and always liked the idea of filmmaking, but I didn't find anyone who was interested in filmmaking in Japan. So I sort of started making videos by myself or with friends, helping out my musician friends to make a music video or something, or documentaries, because it doesn't really require a team to make a short documentary. So I started doing that in uni. So when I was 18, and that kind of was selected for a short film festival in Japan, and I met people there and then kind of expanded a bit of connection in Japan. And then I had an opportunity to study in America, and I took a course of filmmaking, basic filmmaking. And then there I met my best friend now, Alex. He's from America and he's a filmmaker, and he came to Melbourne to make a film. And then I was in Japan at the time, but he was like, "Oh, come over. Let's make a film together." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing anything at the moment in my life." So I came to Melbourne and we made the feature film together, which is still in production. But from there, kind of the connection kind of expanded from that feature film. And I actually don't know how I ended up here, but just connections. And then, still making films.
Yeah, as I mentioned, that I actually consume a lot of queer films, and that's how I started to explore my gender and sexuality. But what was it like that for you, Patitta?
For me, I think first time that I see queer films in Thailand is Love of Siam. It's in like 2007. But back then I still very young and don't really register of like what is different between like same gender relationship and like heterosexual relationship. So I don't really feel that I get a lot from the films. But then when the time passed, when we have Yes or No, like the girl love films, then that's the time that I feel like, oh, this is something that I can relate with as well. And actually after that, the time that I got to know more about girl-girl relationship is actually through fan fiction. Like, because when you watch film, it's just one story, right? But because I follow like the Korean girl group as well, so that the time that they have like the big communities with like different people and different sexualities to be in one community, and then we share the story, we share the fan fictions like from different angles.
May I also ask, what is a fan fiction?
So it's the fiction that the fan write based on the character of the singer that they like. It's really different. I mean, because of course in the fan base website, they're gonna have specific sections for the fan fictions, and maybe you can read like 10 fan fiction a day. Like, it's really a lot. So it's really like in like different story that you can explore.
Yeah, I watch fan fiction as well, actually. That's very interesting to hear from you. You mentioned about Yes or No. That was also very much the first queer film that I watched that made me think about it. It was pretty interesting to watch that when I was a teenager. That was recommended by a classmate. And there were also another boys' love one that was also quite popular.
Love of Siam.
Yes, that's right.
I think that the first queer film ever that go mainstream in Thailand.
Interesting. What about you, Ayuka?
I think there was no particular Japanese media that I saw as a kid that resonated with my sexuality, unfortunately. So what I liked was Glee. Do you know Glee?
Yes.
Yeah, that was probably like the first TV show I resonated with my sexuality, because there were a lot of queer characters, and that was probably the first time watching queer characters thrive in a TV show. So I would say that was a big one for me, but unfortunately I didn't see much Japanese TV shows that featured queer characters.
I can totally get it, because after I started to consume queer films, I was trying to figure out myself. I pretty much watched everything I could find on the internet. One of the most popular ones is actually Glee. And because they have so many queer characters, and there was a big Chinese fan group as well that they edited a lot of queer things. I pretty much watched everything.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting to also hear like when, the queer films hit the main media. That was how many years ago?
I think Love of Siam is in 2007.
Yeah, 2007.
2007.
Yes or No is 2010. Yeah, so 15
years ago.
Yeah.
So I was 15 then. Oh my gosh, I feel so old. But I still can remember like vividly the lesbian wedding like scene or whatever. It's so burnt in my head. So it was very powerful for me. Yeah, but 15 years ago is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? I started with the Asian queer film. That was quite interesting because I feel the subtle chemistry between the actors. It's very subtle. It's interesting. Later on, I started to watch a bit more like American or British ones, and there's just so much sex. And not saying like sex scenes are not good, but just you don't always feel resonating with some of the things and some of the storylines. And recently, there was also another Thai drama called The Secret of Us. People are saying that was the first time lesbian story, the girls' love story, hit the main media channel. And that was, I think, Channel 3.
Channel 3, yes.
Yeah, Channel 3. And they also invited one of the actresses back from Yes or No.
Yes, because like they come from the same directors. From Yes or No, it took them 15 years to go to the mainstream channel. To give you guys more context, Channel 3 is like ABC here. It's really big, like one of the biggest and oldest TV channel in Thailand. So it's really important move for me, I think, as someone who worked in the industry. Because I know like previously we have many girl love and boy love dramas, but it's more like on the digital TV. Yes, more like for the younger generation to watch those content. But now when it go to the mainstream, when it go to the actual television, can reach the broader audience, like all the older generations, grandma, grandpa, they get to know more about these communities. And I think it's a very important step for us. And yes, because it's come from the same director of Yes or No. So they kind of like reconnect and have the special appearance from the couple from Yes or No as well. Yeah, so it's quite cool in that sense, yeah, to see how queer love content get more appearance, get more opportunity in Thai film media. Yeah.
It's quite interesting that after 15 years, and then we started to see the girls' love in the mainstream, right? Mm-hmm. But Ayuka, for you, back then, there were not many queer characters resonate with your feelings. Do you feel that you connect with some characters now?
Yeah, I reckon now, yes, in 2025, I feel like I see more queer characters that I can resonate. Like, not only cis queer people, but there are many gender diverse characters represented in the media lately. So I would say so. It's getting better.
What are the recent queer characters that you resonated with, and what's the film?
It's not a film, but I love Heartbreak High. Have you watched it?
Yeah.
It's made in Australia, so-called Australia, filmed in Sydney, I think. And they're like BIPOC, queer, gender diverse characters, which I resonate with more than like white, cis lesbians, you know? So, yeah, how they portray the characters, it's more deep with cultural backgrounds and stuff. So I resonate with that TV show a bit more.
Can you explain what is a BIPOC?
BIPOC is Black Indigenous people of color.
Thank you. Yeah. Now we can see more gender diverse characters. But what I found out is that even though I go to the Melbourne Queer Film Festival and I go to the cinema to watch queer films, I still couldn't see many characters that I can really feel connected with the characters' experiences, because there's still so many are not coming from the multicultural background. And I think Asian queer films also, the style-wise, I think it's quite different as well. For example, I feel more connected with the Korean, Japanese, Thai, or even some of the Chinese. One of the recent ones currently in cinema is called Wedding Banquet. the upcoming one in Acme, there's another one called Saving Face. That was a quite old film, but that was one of the first ones. I think they really had the Chinese character crafted in the way that you really described how the sort of relationship with the mom in the family tension there. Like, I love you, but I cannot understand the choice with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times it's quite subtle amongst the romantic relationships. And there's a lot detailed engagement in their life. And it's not so dramatic. So I would like to hear about your thoughts on the queer characters on the film, about the diversity of representations.
Yeah, like most of the Western media, the queer character will be like very loud, very outspoken, very colorful. Yeah, and I don't really see myself like that, even though I feel very comfortable in my skin. But when I see the films, I want to see someone that quite quiet and a little bit shy and don't want to be out there. Like they might just want to live their life comfortable and just be themselves in their way. So when I first see the film, it's on Netflix, it's called The Half of It. Yeah, so I feel like, oh, finally, there's like no big drama. It's just like one quiet Asian girl who try to figure herself and like have a cute love rom-com kind of thing with like her crush. It's like, it's no over-the-top drama. And I feel like, yes, finally there's something that I can relate with. We need something more of that. It might not so dramatic to sell to the audience, but yeah, it's really important to include this kind of character in as well. And as Asians, I feel like we have different way to express our feeling, different way to express our love language. So yes, it's really important to include all kind of expression in the films.
I remember the half of it. I watched it as well. That was the same director of The Saving Face. It was also quite interesting how the main character, the Chinese character, when I saw it, actually I don't really resonate. So it's interesting to hear that you actually feel resonated with the quiet, shy girl. Like what I don't resonate with is for a lot of Chinese queer characters on the film, I found out a lot of them are shy, quiet, good at study, might be PhD, feminist, always wearing glasses. I mean, nothing wrong about wearing glasses. I'm also wearing glasses. But still, you don't see much diversity about the experiences. That's so many different experiences that even the Chinese queer communities, they have.
Yes, that's interesting. Maybe because I didn't think of like whether she's Chinese or not. I mean, I kind of overlooked that. I only see like, okay, this is finally someone quiet that queer in the films and have very normal, like regular journey. I mean, like when I say regular, I mean like there's no like too much dramas, too much drug, sex scenes, self-harm or things like that. It's kind of like a journey of a girl who try to figure herself out. It's more subtle in that way. Yeah, and me as I think I quite quiet in person. So yes, I kind of happy to see that on the screen. Yeah.
What about you, Ayuka?
I agree with Patitta because, yeah, in Western media, queer characters are always loud and colourful, have their hair dyed pink or like green or whatever. And yeah, I don't personally resonate with that kind of like self-expression. But at the same time, it's kind of nice to see them living their lives as well. So I enjoy consuming those kind of media as well. But at the same time, quiet characters and just living their lives is not too represented in the media at the moment. So yeah, I want to see more characters who's like just living their lives, not necessarily about coming out or partying with, you know, queer friends or whatever. Just being themselves is just part of you. Being queer is just part of you. That kind of characters I would like to see, but I think it's lacking a bit.
Yeah. That is really lacking because in the beginning, I also feel like I don't even want to say that I'm a queer. I simply just think sexuality is just one part of you. Shouldn't be labeled or put in the box. But then I actually started to express and say that I'm part of the queer community, part of the LGBTQIA plus community. It is actually for the reason for visibility and representation. Because I know as a queer person sitting in the back, if I don't represent, and then there are so many queers that they are just living their life and we're never going to get them on the screen. So this is actually why I'm passionate about producing the films and documentaries that actually just simply bring normal people's life on the screen. And that doesn't have to be fancy and always that colorful and loud to make a big deal. So really resonate with your thoughts as well. I'm also wondering, how did you see the change of the queer representations in the film? Including from the Channel 3 Thailand and also other kind of big production companies as well. I think I continuously watching in the last 2 years. Recent ones Call Me By No Name and another one called Even If We Become an Adult. So I really started to see that started to happen. And I think that also had some impact on how people see themselves being represented and also for them to explore themselves. Yeah, so I'm curious about your thoughts about the journey, the history, the change, and what was your experience like?
So back 2 years or no again, I think that the beginning of everything maybe. You can see that it will be more like one masculine and one feminine side of the relationship. And then up until today, you can see that there's no really clear differentiate between the feminine and masculine side anymore. They can be both have very girly appearance, but have the feeling to each other. And I think that that's good in a sense that when someone who still try to figure themselves out and watch the film, and then they know that, they don't have to be like the masculine or the feminine side of the relationship. This thing can be fluid and they can just be themselves with their partner. But I still feel like and this is not just like the same-sex story. Even with heterosexual as well in Thai media, it's very heavily rely on the beauty standard. And yes, so I feel like if we can have more of the character that maybe more diverse in their appearance, more diverse in their preference, how they gonna dress up, how they gonna express themselves, that would be good. But I also noticed that in one of the 33.5 series, there's one couple that both of them are trans women as well. Yes, and then they fall in love with each other. And I'm really happy to see that. It's like, okay, this is not just about like two boys or two girls anymore. There's like, we have different kind of love represented on the screen. But yeah, of course, there's still many areas that we want to cover and we should cover to make it more inclusive. But I think we're on the right track right now.
I don't really watch Japanese media, so I can only speak about Western TV shows or films. I think the transition's really slow, especially in broadcast or like TV, but on Netflix or streaming sites kind of coming out, it's a bit more diverse now. And in a level of social media as well, people are trying to make more diverse content on Instagram, TikTok, or like web series, which I love to see those changes. More trans characters, more people with different cultural backgrounds and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm seeing a bit more changes on like social media type of content.
Do you think social media sort of changed the film industry for some reason. I remember, I think one of the filmmaking workshops I went to, people really started to look into TikTok series, and even YouTube, web series. And they see there's a huge demand for the content, and it started to pick up in recent few years. Do you think it kind of force the traditional film industry to really think about the audiences watching, consuming the content, as well as making more diverse films?
I think social media play a very big role in this. There's a really big push for the mainstream traditional media to have a look in this kind of content, because same as Channel 3, I think, because all the girl love boy love dramas is happen on web series or in digital TV, and then when they see, there's the fan base here, there's the potential here, because hate to say this, but at the end of the day, they're doing the business. When they see that, there's a lot of demand here, then they start to interest in putting some money in. Because even for the Three of Us, it's just really pilot project, really low budget. I mean, when I say low, I compare to different project from Channel 3. Low budget, just 8-episode series. But for some reason, the directors and the cast, they do a good job, and of course they fit those beauty standard as well. So it's create a lot of big wave. So now other traditional media, they interest in doing this content as well, like the same-sex love story. And I think it's really good. It's really proof that, internet really proof that there's the high demand in this area, and it's have a lot of potential to generate the money, generate the profit in that sense. So I think it's good that they finally realized how much need to work on this area, and it's a strong proof that apart from money side, the business side of it, they also create some change in the society as well. Yes, and because of social media, then people have the instant feedback of any content and everything that they do. So it's good that I can see that they try to work on those areas that they got the comment on as well. So it's good in that sense.
Thank you for sharing so much insights. Does that also come from your experience working in the film distribution? And can you explain a little bit more what got you involved in the film industry, and also what you do as in film distribution?
Yes, so I studied films in Thailand for my bachelor, and then after that I worked in film productions and I moved to film distributions. So film distribution is we bought the film license from overseas to distribute in Thailand. And many times I always say that in film distribution is more like you pay the gamble with company money, because you have to pitch with your boss while you have to pay 1 million baht to bought this film and distribute in Thailand. So it's kind of the high stake that I have to fought to. And many times they don't agree with me, why you gonna do this film? It's not gonna make that money to cover all the expenses that we have to pay. But then I feel it's really important to get the film in the market. Yeah, whether it's queer films or indie films, that's the area that I'm work on. Then I also work as the festival manager for the Arts House Comedy in Thailand as well, to send the independent Pan-Asia film to festival around the world. The thing that I try to push underrepresented films to reach more audience as well.
Yeah. And what about your role in Melbourne?
So in Melbourne, I previously worked as a film distribution as well, but it's in the Indian companies. So we distribute Indian film in Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji. It turned out that Australia is the second biggest market of Indian films. It used to be UK and now it's already Australia. Yes, so it's a lot of work there. And as I say that, we have to negotiate with the cinema a lot, try to put the content, that non-English content, to get the platform in cinemas. So I kind of understand how hard it is to fight with the board, with the one who have the money to get this content to the audience. Yeah, whether to create it, to shoot, like to film it, or to put it into cinema. Yes, a lot of process, a lot of back and forth, many presentations, many emotional blackmail that you have to put through.
Yeah, I can feel the challenges of trying to kind of fight for the resources with the mainstream and also already big and established, renowned production companies, right? It's very challenging. But yeah, glad to see My Melbourne. That was the film.
Yes.
In cinema.
Yeah, like My Melbourne is the film that my previous company produced. It's the 4 short film that combined to one feature film. It tells a story about the underrepresented people in Australia, in Melbourne. Yeah, so it's very important for me to be a part of this project. Like one of the stories is about like the gay man who lived here in Melbourne, and then after his mom passed away, his dad from India come here to reconnect with him. So his dad don't really understand his choice to date with another man in Australia. And it's also very kind of like the culture crash as well. One is come from very religious, another one come from very independent way of thinking. It's good to have this kind of storytelling in cinemas here in Australia.
Thank you for sharing that. Ayuka, I'm also curious about how's your experience in the filmmaking as a DOP?
Honestly, it's been incredible just because I work with incredible people who are like-minded. Otherwise, I don't think you have the best time in film industry because it's really tight teamwork. You work with them 12 hours every day for months and months. So, yeah, I think I've been picking right people, kind, passionate people. So, yeah, personally, it's been incredible. I'm learning so much. I'm collaborating with very talented, passionate people. So, yeah, I can't complain.
Yeah, so what kind of films are you making at the moment?
So I just finished the production for a VCA film. It's called The Holding. It was 5 days shoot and it's going to be 15-minute short film. It's about queer love and letting go of a past relationship. I love making those kind of narrative, interesting queer films. And yeah, that's what I hope to keep making.
So if there are no restrictions, and what kind of films that you want to make?
Definitely films that feature BIPOC, queer and disabled folk because they're very underrepresented and I resonate with those characters. So yeah, I would like to keep making those films and hope to make some more.
From the production side, what did you see the current diverse representation from the crew and what kind of impact it has?
Yeah. So I'm in the camera department and camera department's mainly dominated by men, which is a bit frustrating at the moment because all the hours and things like that tend to go to men. And there are so many incredible camera team DOPs in the film industry and they don't get much opportunities as men do. So yeah, I would like to see more diversity in that area, as well as not just only women, but gender diverse and people of color. I think that's a bit lacking there. And also when you get diversity in the crew, that comes up in the film itself, especially when the story is about queer people. I feel like it's really important that crew are queer people as well, because it really does come out. Like you are more invested in the story for sure. So how you film is different from people who do not have that kind of experience. In terms of camera, lighting, sound as well, most of the time. Directing, of course, casting and costume, everything comes out in the screen. So diversity is very important for me, not only for the visual or storytelling side, but the environment as well.
So I totally agree with this. And I'm not really have a chance to work in film production here in Australia, but I also see behind the scene of my Melbourne as well. And first time that I see that the whole lighting crew is all women, are so amazed. They're so cool, working really hard, and they really like enjoy what they're doing, and it's very good atmosphere, very good energy there. Because back in Thailand, all the grapher or the lighting crew, they're all 40 years old men, like really uncle-like. I mean, it's nothing wrong with that, and I feel very comfortable working with them. But in a way that I see like, oh, this is all women crew. This is so cool. Yeah, I feel really happy about that. And I feel more comfortable and more inclusive. Even like I spend 1 or 2 days on set for my Melbourne because we have very inclusive team. We have people from different background, different abilities, different language. So it's really diverse in that sense. So you easily to feel as a part of the team. Yes, because even though back in Thailand, I speak same language with everyone. We come from the same country, same culture. Back then, I work as in like the art department. So again, very dominantly by men, and they know that I'm gay, I'm interested in women, so they want to include me in their pack. So many times that they give some comment about the actress or about other female crew in the teams, and I sit there as well, and they try to make joke with me. Maybe it's their way to include me, like make me feel comfortable, which is turned out not to. Yes, and I feel like even though they don't have like the bad intention with me, but I also feel like I'm not really comfortable sitting there as well. In that sense, it's not struggle. It's just one thing that I feel like, oh, what should I say here? What should I do here? I don't feel like I should sit here, but I don't want to get up from this circle as well.
So how did you respond to that uncomfortableness? Like, did you say anything back then?
Back then, I didn't say anything because maybe I think I still really junior. It's during my internship back then. And there are those 30, 40 years old men try to make joke among each other. So the only thing that I can do is like I remember it's very clear in my head that it's one of the crew in the team as well. She wear the ragging, very tight in the scent, and then they make joke about her. So I just have to go and tell my friends that, oh, can you tell this girl to maybe cover herself up a bit? But I mean, it's not the thing that I should do. Like, she doesn't have to cover herself if she's comfortable with that. But because I don't feel comfortable talking with the like other men crew as well. So I feel like, yeah, if we can't stop them, then maybe I want her to be aware that someone looking at her right now.
Yeah, I think
that's what I can do back then. Yeah.
If you could go back, what would you have done differently?
Yeah, I mean, if it's me at my age, this right now, when we just turn to them, it's like, why this is really something that you have to talk right now. Yeah, like we all here to work, and it's so hot in Thailand. The weather is so hot, so if she want to dress like that and just make her feel more comfortable working and walking around, then maybe don't make a point about that.
Yeah, I do think like a safe environment is quite important from the crew as well. And I think often we just see what's on the screen, but often we don't know what's happening behind the scene, which is also so important, contributing to what you eventually see on the screen, right? And that comes from many different directions and how the actors even feel comfortable acting when, you know, everybody is on site, how to make sure that they feel comfortable and how it will end up on the screen. I think it does show difference. So thinking about diverse representations in the queer films in Australia from production perspective, distribution, and also the economic benefits even, what are the opportunities that you think Australia is really missing out there?
As the film industry itself, I think it's missed a lot of things, and I don't know how to improve that, to be honest. But like, you know, the first time that I tell my friend in Thailand that, oh, I work in film industry here in Australia, and then they look at me and they're like, so what exactly are you working on? What's Australian films. Like they said, I know Hollywood film, I know Bollywood, I know Japanese, Korean, Chinese, of other films, but what exactly Australian films? And then at the point I feel like, oh, how can I explain this? What is Australian films? Because like in a way that diversity is very strong selling point for Australians, like multicultural. But if we talk about Australian film itself, like what is this? For Korean, for example, for Korean film itself, they put a very strong values in their culture in the films. I think that how we differentiate each films against each other, like I mean Bollywood films, Hollywood films, those kind of stuff. So it's very hard to put one like description for Australian films. Talking about Mad Max, but do you perceive Mad Max as Australian films? Because if you talk with someone outside the industry, they're gonna think that it's Hollywood films that only shoot in Australia. And I don't think many people know that it's shot in Australia itself. Yeah, so it's very tricky in that sense. If we're gonna use that multicultural things, we have a lot of resource, we have a lot of story that need to be told. But for some reason, it's still not out there yet. Somewhere still like a lot of work that need to be done. Yeah, to put the strong point that when someone see the film and they know this is Australian films.
Yeah, that's such a good point, because when you ask what is Australian film, I have no idea. Like what? Like that they have to feature kangaroos, or like I don't know. Like so, yeah. And then also I agree on your point that they need to fund. They really need to fund. Like First Nations people have hundreds, like millions of stories to tell. Like they have to tell the stories, and they need funding for that. And also the quote unquote like multicultural city, Melbourne, they have a lot of stories to tell, but they don't have resources to make those films and to tell the stories. So that's definitely missing, and that's what this country is missing. Like so many stories to be told, but no funding. So that's a problem.
Yeah, I agree that there are so many stories. I feel like through our point three, we have so many queer international students have rich stories to tell, but there's just no platform for them to share. And I think this is really the missed out opportunity for Australia to say that we are a very diverse, multicultural country, but at the same time, we couldn't see that many stories, couldn't hear, couldn't see, and it's so invisible here, right?
Actually, I want to add something. It just popped in my head. Like, why Australian content is not that diverse? Because it's so hard to get into film industry here in Australia.
That's true.
As this is very real life, and it's not really fun at all to find a job here in Australia as a film person. All those big company, I don't want to name them, but when I just graduated, I tried to find a work in film industry, right? One of the questions that I asked, are you PR? Are you citizen? Even before, what you doing? Like, what's your experience and things like that. And I even worse, like I spent maybe half an hour talking about my work and things. They have really good lections. And then when they ask, like, are you PR or do you have any restriction on work like that? When I say, oh, I'm TR, in that moment, I can say they lost interest in me. So how can we have diverse content if we don't have diverse people to work in the industry in the long run? If they're student, they will be here for 2-3 years and then they're gone. And 2 years not enough to create a film. It's something that government, visa issues, the company itself, they need to work on. And if you expect something more, you can't give less than this.
Yeah.
That's what I want to add. And I think it's very piss me off sometimes when I think about it. But yeah.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. It is extremely difficult for international students to crack the creative industry in general. And in the film industry, I actually joined the Behind the Screens program for emerging filmmakers. everybody is from multicultural backgrounds, but most of them are Australian born. And it is also quite different when you migrate to Australia as a student or working holiday visa holders or sponsored by a company. It's very different from the Australian born migrants experience as well, and still don't see much the new migrant in Australia cracking in the film industry. It's very difficult, very relationship based. You need to build up your network. You need to make the connections with people. So I feel your frustration, and hopefully there's more openness and also things that can be changed. For the visa status, for example, 2 years is not good enough to make a good film. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, just thinking also about the session schedules in the cinema. Thai film, The Flat Girls, was in cinema. When I see the session schedules, everything is from 9:20 p.m. in the cinema. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, that night time, how many people are going to watch it? After I get home, it's already midnight.
Yes, it's very challenging as someone who work directly with the cinemas. I feel like it's already so hard to fight for the non-English films in the English-speaking country. Like they tend to give section for those big Hollywood films or even like Australian films, anything but like non-English films. So for Fat Girl, it's both non-English and it's queer films. So it's really tricky in that sense, and I really put my heart with the team that distribute these films, and I know how challenging it is. For myself, I try to watch this film in cinema as well, and yeah, just like you said, it's really tricky for me. I remember clearly, only 3 cinemas that screen this film in Melbourne. One is Village Sunshine, far away, Village Crowd Casino, and then Nova Cinemas. All of them have like after 9 p.m. sections, and it's really not convenient for the audience to go and check it out. Like if they have work in the next morning or if they have dinner planned, then that's out. I think it's in cinema only for a week. Even though I understand that, of course, if they have to keep the space to one film, they will prefer the film that generate more money, that can sell more ticket. But in that sense, I feel like there's the demand there. It's really the problem between like egg and chicken, like what happened first. How can people go and watch the film if there are no sections? And cinema will say, oh, if we have the demand, then we're going to increase more sections. And how can you have the demand when there's nowhere to put the demand in? Yeah, so it's very hard and tricky in that sense. Talking about Thai film here in Melbourne, I think because last year we have that How to Make the Million Before Grandma Die, and it's generate a lot of money, is nominated in Oscar. So that's the starting point to like for cinema to have more interest in Thai film. And I think we need more of that. Like we need to show the cinema that here this is the demand. This can be proved by number, because at the end of the day, they will more focus on like how one film can generate, how much money. So yeah, I hope that we're gonna get more chance to do that. And
yes, I do think there's a lot of demand, but sometimes it's very difficult to put a figure to say how much exactly there's a demand. Because as a producer, when I need to pitch for the film, they always ask, who are your audiences? And then they want you to have already existed audiences that you're already connected with. But it's really chicken and egg, right? Because how can you expect to invest funding into the film that you're expecting that you already have ready to pay audiences and to prove that? So where does that number come from, right? So from your opinions, how could we improve the system?
Definitely talk with friends. My good friend always recommends me films from abroad, and most of the time I miss it because they don't have enough screenings at Nova or wherever. But yeah, getting those informations like this film's good, go see it, that kind of conversations need to keep happening. And that really helps in smaller scale, but I think that's going to grow and grow. So just talk about it, I reckon. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we can do as the audience, as like someone who want to support the film as well. Yeah, but I think like if we go back to the beginning, like of course we need more films to be created, so it can create a lot of channels, a lot of platform for people in community to express themselves. But to do that, create one film take a lot of money, and to pitch that with the huge studio, they might not really interest in that. So that's where the government have to come in, step in, and have the proper budget that dedicate to this area. They put the money in, give a chance to emerging or well-established queer communities, filmmakers. So they got a chance to create good films, and then when the film is good, then it's go to cinemas. And I hope that cinema gonna give us a chance to show those films to audience as well. And then it will come in circle. The government give us the money, we get a chance to create good films. I very certain that we can do that. Like we have a lot of good hand in the communities. And when we have a good film that have a good session times from cinemas, of course, then it's reached to more audience, then it's generate the money, and then it's proved back to cinema that see there's the demand here. We can sustain ourselves in the long term, and then this will come in circle. Yes, people in the community feel seen, and yes, and we can create a better community for everyone.
If you could be the screenwriter, if you are there to create some characters, so what would be the dream characters you would like to create? Or what kind of stories? Just no limit. The sky is the limit.
I think I will still stick with like some quiet Asian characters that don't really have conflict in herself. Like she really clear about herself, like who she is, and really comfortable in her skin. So I kind of like want to make the kind of rom-com. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, I love that. So what about you, Ayuka?
If the sky is the limit. Also, I'm not a screenwriter, so I would say this, like, I'll just interview thousands of people, in queer community, and I'll help them to tell their stories. Yeah, that's what I want to do, like, just help people to tell their stories.
Thank you. Wow. Hopefully we can have more than thousands.
Yeah, hopefully.
Any last thing you would like to say?
Just consume a lot of media, and especially non-broadcasted ones. Some media that's produced by indie filmmakers. They might produce something that's more close to your heart. So just explore and don't feel pressured to like figure yourself out. Just take your time. It's just an aspect of you. It's incredible, but it's just an aspect of you. So yeah, take your time and just enjoy.
For me, it's not like specific filmmaker or anything, but I feel like if you have some time and if you're interested, you can check like those small film festivals around Melbourne and Australia as well, because that's the way that independent and new emerging filmmaker put their film there. It's not easy to find a new independent film in cinema. So if you're interested in this area, then yeah, Films Festival is the good area that you can check out. The Melbourne Queer Films or even like MIF, Melbourne International Film Festival. Yes, so they also have like lots of interesting film as well. Or like maybe more niche film festival like the Indian Film Festival of Melbourne and St. Kilda Short Film Festival. Yeah, so it's lot of interesting film festival happening here. Very good platform for new filmmaker, for independent filmmaker to express themselves.
I agree. Film festivals for sure. And if you find a good short film that resonates with you, I recommend like checking out director or writer's social media, because most likely they produce similar themed films. Yeah, I recommend doing that.
And maybe share it. pass
Yes,
it online.
share. Pass it on. Yeah.
Share it. Yeah, love it. Share it. Let's create the demand
Yes.
and get more investment into making diverse films so that more people can feel be seen. Thank you for sharing your experience, both personal experience and also professional perspective as well. You've been listening to Voices for Us, a podcast by R.3, a not-for-profit organization dedicated to building a meaningfully connected community for queer international students, alumni, and allies. What's next? Follow R.3 on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And check out our upcoming community activities at r.3.org. And we might start to talk about some films in some of our community activities. This episode was supported by the Victorian Government with a special thanks to City of Melbourne Libraries and Fifi Curiosity. Thanks for being with us today. What's your story? Want to be the next speaker? Express your interest via the Get Involved page on our website, or simply just send us a message on social media. Stay warm in the Melbourne cold winter. Stay connected with us. Thank you for listening.